We're getting a look at some of the evidence special counsel Jack Smith is relying on to make his case that former President Trump was acting as a private citizen, a political candidate, when he allegedly tried to overturn the results of the 2020 election outside his presidential duties.
The overarching decision here is former President Trump immune from this prosecution or not immune?
A hurdle Smith has to overcome after a Supreme Court decision earlier this year granted presidents broad legal immunity. The majority of the nearly 2,000 documents unsealed Friday are redacted. The rest, for the most part, were already public, but now we know Smith is using them to make his case, like these court documents from a challenge to Arizona's results, listing Trump's campaign as the plaintiff, not the Trump administration.
If Trump wins, this case is going to go away. But if Trump loses the election, this case, in theory, one day will be tried. And so Jack Smith's got to be careful about trying to influence a jury in releasing confidential information.
The prosecution focusing on excerpts from former Vice President Mike Pence's book, So Help Me God, in which he wrote about meetings with campaign lawyers after the election.
Jay Sekulow, his personal lawyer and staunch defender, wasn't optimistic about the election challenges. But the campaign pressed on with them.
Trump's team tried to keep these documents sealed until 9 days after the election, arguing making them public would interfere with the election. Judge Chutkan took the opposite view. If the court withheld information that the public otherwise had a right to access solely because of the potential political consequences of releasing it, that withholding could itself constitute or appear to be election interference. As for what's next in this case,
Former President Trump's legal team is going to file a brief after the election, November 14th, where they're going to say, hey, look, this case should be tossed out on its head.
By then, we'll know who the next president is, and it'll be their Department of Justice that will determine whether Smith keeps his job and continues this case. In Washington, I'm Atrell Nashar reporting.